You all think I'm here to shine light on the great aspects of social work, and while that is true, I am also here to always be honest and authentic about my life as it relates to my career and the other things. You've been hearing in vlogs all of this year, honestly, so far, that I've been so busy and have been having it rough. And that has been the case. I've been spending days exhausted and coming home even more exhausted. Some truths about this profession. So number one, you get immersed in the deep, ugly parts of this world. It's hard to come out of that unaffected. Number two, those deep, ugly parts can start to feel more prevalent because that is what you see. And number three, you are confronted every single day by the limitations of you being just one eeny weeny little person in this world without the power to fix all that you want to fix. But some more truths about this profession. There is beauty in being just one eeny weeny little person in this world because you can spend your energy making change in the exact niche spot that you are placed in. If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. Though you might not change the whole world, you might get to walk alongside someone as they change their whole world, and that's pretty cool too. Despite my recent busy weeks that I feel have affected the quality of videos put out on this channel and the amount that I've been able to connect with you in the past few weeks, I do ultimately feel proud for how this time has gone. One game-changing mindset for me is that of acceptance. I've talked about it before and I will likely talk about it again, but being able to think to yourself, this is a busy season, and put a period on the end of that sentence takes work. We are so much quicker to slide straight into this is a busy season and that is bad. Whether you may not say those words, that's what your brain feels. Or this is a busy season and it is making me hate my life. For me, the past few weeks have taken some extra effort and continued coping, but also I feel the need to acknowledge the fact that all of the hard work I've previously put into learning how to take care of myself is paying off. My bad days at work did not ruin me, and that has not always been the case. Something that occurred to me recently too, it feels fake, it does not feel real, but the amount of time that I've spent at my previous job until the day that I turned in my resignation letter is to the day the same amount of time that I've spent at my current job until today. I knew that last year I'd felt a lot of growth, but it's cool to see it in action, just in me as a person too. All of that to say, I do feel on the other side of my busy season now. Social workers know that those are dangerous words to say and I probably should bite my tongue, but overall, I felt the need to just check in and also to let you know that I'm excited for all that is coming up in life that I get to share with you. I actually have packages to unbox right now. I feel like it's been a while because I haven't really bought things online. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but I moved around things in the office. My desk used to be over in this corner and the reading chair was right here, if you remember that, and now I just feel like it fits so much better. The reading chair is over here and we have the wall of desks. So I'm loving that. The first thing, this is gifted for TikTok actually, but I felt like it'd be fun to do it here too. The bean bag. So I guess what this company is, I hadn't heard of them honestly, but I was like, yeah, I want to try, that seems fun. But it's a coffee subscription company so that they just come to your door and let's see, you can get a free tasting flight to start. Oh yeah, free 4 coffee sampler to start. You get free shipping on subscriptions. And the actual coffees, 12 curated specialty coffees. Okay. Oh, this is not shocking. Opening the box, smells like coffee. Oh wow, there's a lot to try here. Wait, this is so cool. It smells so good too. I feel like part of me's always wanted to become more of a coffee snob because I'm really not. I'll just drink whatever. But I guess Beanbox has from different parts of the world, which seems cool. I guess what I don't know is if their beans are already ground. I kind of feel like they're probably gonna be beans. I'll figure it out. Look, all these coffees. And then what I'm even more excited for, because I actually picked it out myself. I've actually been really excited for this. Boba tea protein. As As you may remember, I tried to get a protein that I liked that was like new and fun flavor a couple weeks ago, and I ended up hating the flavor. But I wanted to just get like more fun proteins because I feel like if I'm trying to drink protein more, I like vanilla. I have nothing against vanilla. I like chocolate. I have nothing against chocolate. However, it's like I just want like a really fun drink. And Orgain, the brand that I usually get, it does have more fun flavors, but like they're not just like out there. Like I kind of wanted something out there. Like Orgain has like chocolate coconut, chocolate peanut butter, sea salt chocolate. I might have made that one up. But things that are like, okay, that sounds good. But I wanted a little bit more. Boba tea protein. Oh, I'm so excited for this. It's taro milk tea, protein, lactose free, or like 99.99% lactose free. It said it doesn't have any added sugar. I truly cannot explain to you how excited I am for that. So I got the taro milk tea flavor. I got the matcha latte flavor, which is caffeinated, so it's a morning one, but it's matcha and greens. This is more what I was needing. And then, because I was trying to spend enough to get free shipping, I got tapioca pearls to go with the boba. Oh good, it has like instructions, because that does not look like what you get in boba, but it has instructions, so I'll be instructed. And then I also got strawberry popping pearls. Isn't that so cool? So I was thinking like could do the tapioca ones in the taro milk protein, and then do like the strawberry popping ones in the matcha latte and greens protein. This is like, it better taste good. I obviously haven't tasted it yet, but this is like what I was seeking. This is what I was seeking, assuming it tastes good. It's like I want to set it up for like a little Instagram story or something. Happy unboxing. I feel like that was a fun one. Given our funky setup of the video so far, I'm sure you were wondering, like, do we get to actually hear about the week? Is this gonna be an actual vlog too? A little bit, if you want it to be. Today, Friday, for reference, sorry, I know you have no idea where we're at in the world. Friday, today, 2 days before this video publishes, I feel like I had such a valuable, productive day at work today, because I feel like today I had the time and the energy and the like situational setup to be able to provide lots of good resources and information to the families that I'm working with. And I think as I'm just like reflecting, I didn't know that February would be this like period of reflection for me, but apparently it is. But the way that families have like asked questions on resources or asked questions on benefits, and I've just like known in my head, I feel like I'm actually starting to become like good at what I'm doing. I know that's kind of like wild to say after being somewhere 9 months, but I mean, every day you learn a little more, so every day you get a little better. Every day you trial and error or something a little different, and I just feel like I had some tough cases wrap up recently, and there will be more coming in my life, and I really got to like dive energy into aspects that I had been missing. And I do apologize for the amount that my like busy season I feel like has affected vlogs. Maybe you haven't noticed it, and so like if you haven't, then don't let me bring attention to it, but I do feel like YouTube's been on my back burner lately, and I want you on the front burner, the front right burner, you know, the like primo one. That's where I want you, and that's what my goal is upcoming too. Maybe soon we can even get back to like 2 uploads a week, if you're cool with that. If I can pull that off. It's the next day. I'm obviously wearing the same sweatshirt. If you're surprised by Halloween Town, you must be new here. I feel like I'm getting the itch to do more in weekends, but I don't know what that is. I feel like until the weather gets nice, I feel like, where would I go? Like, what would I do? But that might be an upcoming goal or something. So far today, I Uber Eats breakfast. Don't usually do that. It was like my little treat for myself. I feel like I got up on the wrong side of the bed, and I was like, I need to change this day around. How can I do that? Probably through like a breakfast sandwich on a bagel from Einstein Brothers. And I do think it turned my day around, but I've just kind of been like sitting and not doing anything, which sometimes is super recharging and relaxful. But today I'm kind of like, me. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I need a little something extra in my life. And Zach's working today, and I think he works long hours tomorrow too. But at some point we're gonna watch Pitch Perfect 2. We just finished watching Pitch Perfect. Let's see, we watched it Thursday and yesterday night. Can't sit for a whole movie, but can sit for half of a movie at a time. And we're like, we should probably watch the rest of them. So that's gonna be a goal. And then also a goal for today. Recently I asked for like Q&A questions, and that reminds me that I need to ask my Instagram story too. I asked for questions. I was like, let me just get all the people. I asked for questions on a YouTube community post, on a TikTok, and now I'm gonna head to my Instagram story so I can do that too. But I've kind of decided I'm gonna make a dedicated social work question and answer Q&A, because that's what I did last time, and I feel like it worked out pretty well. And I think that like obviously a lot of people's questions relate to social work, but then obviously also some people's questions are like more just like me related, which always makes it so fun. I feel like one of my favorite hobbies is talking about myself, so whenever people give me topics to talk about or things that they're curious about, I love it. But I figured I would address the like more personal questions in the rest of the video today, and then probably probably tomorrow I'll film the social work dedicated question and answer. I keep using its full government name, the social work dedicated Q&A, that will then post next week, either being a bonus upload, like 2 in a week if I can pull that off, or at least the Sunday after the one that this posts. I never know. I feel like Instagram is the one that I feel like the most timid about posting YouTube related things on, because even to this day, after it's been over 3 years of doing YouTube, part of me is still like, ooh, the like people I went to middle school with are gonna see this. Like the people I went to high school with are gonna see this. As if they don't know. As if they don't know. Sometimes whenever I feel kind of bored, I'll like clean the apartment. But honestly, this week we didn't get it that dirty. I just don't know what to do with myself. I feel like I'm not in a reading slump necessarily. I just haven't been like dying to pick up a book. I haven't really been dying to listen to an audiobook. I've been like phasing out of watching YouTube even. Like I add all the videos I'm interested into like my watch later, but then I haven't like felt the desire to like actually sit down and watch them. Maybe I should go work out and then reevaluate.
Fight the darkness till break of day. The heart and the past changes so fast, like a chameleon. Red ones and blue skies. What did we know? We were so very young.
Alrighty, Q&A time, and then I get to eat my dinner. Big old bowl here. Like I said, these social work related questions I'll do a whole separate dedicated video for. I don't know why I just like, who is this? Star Trek? Whole separate video for. What is your favorite part of Atlanta? Atlanta has lots of different neighborhoods, all of which I feel like have a different vibe, something different you're going for. Some favorite parts include the Beltline. That's an Atlanta staple. It's a trail that runs through right now most of the east side of Atlanta, but then they're building on the west side right now. I just haven't been over there to see it over there. And so in that, like Inman Park is a neighborhood that I really like. I don't think I could ever afford to live there, but I really like it. Virginia Highlands is a fun neighborhood that I feel like you'll hear a lot about if you hear about like people in their 20s coming to Atlanta. They have lots of coffee shops, bookstores, fitness studios, that kind of thing, and also is not like a newer part of Atlanta. I feel like there's something in me that likes kind of like old charm. Like once we start getting too many new builds, I feel like it just like loses something, and so I like those two. I like Decatur. It's not Atlanta, that's like, it's the closest suburb, maybe you could say, but Decatur in and of itself has lots of different areas. Like downtown Decatur has lots of good restaurants. While we're on the suburbs, I haven't been to Roswell all that much. I do like Roswell from when I've gone though. That's where I ran my half marathon and then did like a long run up there, and I have a few friends that live there and they really like it. If I ever want to live further from the city, I would definitely consider Roswell. I feel like I also want to explore more of like Atlanta-y suburbs type deal, because I mean any type of TikTok TikTok I see that has like fun cafes, more fun restaurants. Like there's so many restaurants in Atlanta, and also so many restaurants in Atlanta Metro. And I feel like Duluth always has good things. Smyrna always has good things. Dunwoody, Sandy Springs feels kind of like bougie. I haven't been there all too much either, but I know people who live there that really love it there. The Battery is a little like complex up in Marietta that people love. It's where the Braves play, but then they also have just like a walkable area that's like restaurants, bars. I don't really know what else they have there. Some people live like by the Battery though. The issue with that is that it's a lot further from the city. Like you have to take the interstate probably like 20 minutes, I feel like, to get back into the city. I don't really love downtown and midtown, but it's because I don't really love like urban-y, like high-rise, dirty sidewalk feelings. Just not my favorite. For the same reason I don't just like love Buckhead. Like it's fine, but I don't like love it. Atlanta has like 3 skylines. If you don't know, it's pretty spread out, but like there's Buckhead, Midtown, downtown. So that's kind of like the, I guess, more urban channel, and then everything kind of like branches off from there. I'm trying to think where else I like. I feel like I like places more than neighborhoods, like specific spots that I go to. South of the city has some cool places too. Back when I interned, it was in Clayton County, which is very south, well, not very south of the city, but like it is south of the city, south of Atlanta. You gotta watch your back a little bit depending on where you're at, but they have lots of good like small family-owned businesses, lots of Black-owned businesses, just like all of Atlanta, honestly. If you go up Buford Highway, you start to get lots of like international restaurants, like beyond our typical Americanized international restaurants, like beyond like Tex-Mex, American Chinese, that kind of thing. Like they have lots of like Ethiopian restaurants, or like true South American, not just Central American restaurants, more authentic Indian food, that kind of thing. I guess my opinion is just based a lot around food, but those are some areas of Atlanta that I like. Was difficult finding a job post-grad in Atlanta? No, but that's because my first post-grad job, I worked at the place that I was interning at, so I had like my in, you know, I had my foot in the door already. I had my whole self in the door. I was already there. And it didn't necessarily feel easy whenever I was switching jobs and getting my current job now, but I think I did have it easier than I feel like some people in some industries do. Something about social work is that there's always going to be a need somewhere for a social worker. Like there will be places hiring. It may not be your perfect place. It may not be the exact niche of the field you want to work in, the exact population you want to work with, but as far as like if your main priority is like getting a job, there's going to be hospitals around, there's going to be schools around, there's going to be nonprofits around, there's going to be the government around, there's going to be a VA around. So there were places I applied to that I just like didn't hear back from at all, just got no contact from. But thankfully I got lucky with where I'm hired at now that I obviously did get contact back from and started the interview process. And right from the beginning it felt like I was going to get a job offer. My like foot in the door, since I wasn't an intern there for my job I currently have, was going to a job fair, because then I could just meet the person in person who was hiring. So it wasn't just like, oh, my resume was submitted online with 53 other resumes. It was like we're sitting down talking for, it was like half an hour that we just chatted. And so like she was going to remember me because we were physically face to face, and that's kind of how I got my like foot in the door there to eventually get a job here. How to choose a career that supports you financially but also is joyful. I feel like, and I'm still so like young in my career necessarily, but I feel like what makes the biggest difference as far as joy you're able to find in your work is the people that you're working around, working under a good manager, working under a good supervisor, working with coworkers that you enjoy their presence. Obviously that's hard to like discern as you're choosing a job that you're going to go into, because you don't necessarily know like who you're going to end up sitting next to or that kind of thing. But I feel like as far as getting joy from a job, it's a lot more sustainable to have those kinds of things being sources of joy instead of like the actual physical work you're doing, or even like the clients that you're working with. I feel like if you find joy in the actual work you're doing, then that gives the like day-to-day tasks and the like ebb and flow of a job a lot of power over your joy, which can be not sustainable. And then I also feel like if you are finding your joy solely in like the people you are working with as like a professional and like the client or the customer, whoever it is, if you're finding your joy there, or like in the difference you're making, the change you're making, that just also isn't necessarily sustainable in the same way. Like you can definitely find joy and celebrate in those types of things, but like I feel like it increases your resiliency if you're working around and with coworkers and leadership that you align with and that you get along with. Like I said, it's hard to like discern that, other than if you're in an interview and you're like, these don't seem like people that I would get along with. Like that's gonna make it really miserable if you're working with them. If you did long distance with your boyfriend during college, how did you manage to succeed at it and stay together past college? We did do long distance in college. We were only 3 hours away from each other through college though, which I say only, but like both of us grew up in Missouri. We went to high school. We lived like 10 minutes away from each other. We dated junior and senior year. And then for college, I went to Alabama and he went to Emory. And in Atlanta. So like those are 3 hours away from each other, but he was 12 hours from home and I was 9 hours from home. So that's why it's like an only 3 hours, because with both of us going that far away from home, like we could have ended up very far. I feel like what made us sustainable through college, and maybe I'll have like more wisdom on this as we like grow up more and still are together, but both of us were very independent through college, and both of us like very much pursued our own lives, our own friends, our own activities during college. And then it was like fun whenever we could meet up for a weekend, but we really didn't get to see each other all that often. So we would do things just like FaceTime while doing homework, and he would just like sit on FaceTime up in the corner of my screen while we're doing things that like we have to do, because both of us were busy. Him probably more so due to his practice schedule and meet schedule and everything. So I'd say each semester we probably visit each other once, but then it also was helpful that like whenever we go home for break, both of us were going back to the same home basically 10 minutes apart from each other. So I think it's always important to have something to look forward to in that, like, you know, the next time you're seeing them. And then also like in order to be sustainable in the relationship, if that's your person and that's who you want to be with, like having a plan to close the gap after you no longer have to be apart from each other. I don't want to say like I don't think our relationship would have lasted, but I moved to Atlanta once I graduated because at that point we didn't have to be long distance anymore, and also like he was a priority of mine. Like if I were starting somewhere new in a new city, like why would I go somewhere further away from him when we could close the gap and be like not a real relationship, but like actually see each other. Granted, if your person is someone that was like great for the time being, but it's not someone that you are like wanting to spend your life with, which is like you don't always know obviously when you're so young, but like if you don't want to close the gap after college, that's probably a sign. So that being said, it definitely was an adjustment. I mean, going from high school to college and then going from college to living together, because we went from long distance to living together, that's definitely an adjustment because both of us were so used to having our own separate things, our own separate lives, and just having like one little string, you know, tying us back to each other. Whereas like when you're living together, it's like, oh, we're like seeing each other 24/7. And I think that can probably also be really like telling for a relationship. But I mean, with Zach and I, as cheesy as it is, like we are best friends, like we enjoy each other's presence, and then on top of that are in a relationship, you know, laughing and joking and supporting each other, like that kind of thing. It wasn't like, oh man, now I'm living with them. Like, no, it was very exciting and it was very fun. I'm trying to think if there were like hiccups along the way. I mean, finding out things of like sharing an equal load of like household chores, or like being able to communicate whenever you need space, and it's not like, oh, because I don't like you, we can't talk right now. It's just like, I need some alone time. And even though we're squished together real tight in this little apartment, that doesn't mean we're like in conversation 24/7. I think it'd be fun to like have him in a video sometime and maybe talk more about it. I'd have to convince him of that. He's very supportive of the YouTube channel and loves making his little cameos that he does, but I feel like convincing him to sit down for like a sit down video may be harder. So if you want that, maybe like ask him in the comments so I can have some evidence to back me up of why we should do it. How do you choose your next book? Sometimes the library chooses it for me, in that if I have a hold come in, I'm like, well, this is my time, gotta do this. Other than that though, it honestly is usually pretty random, just like based totally on vibes. I feel like since I read like a lot of different genres, usually after I finish a book, I'll just like jump to something like very opposite of it. For example, 2 books ago I finished Dead of Winter, which was like this horror thriller beheading people suspense book, and it was great and I loved it. And then I was like, now I need like something a little light and romancy, and so I'm reading, I think it's out there, but I'm reading The Neighbor Favor, which is just like this cheesy romance. And I feel like after this I'll probably want something more serious again. So I really just like jump back and forth of all over in my little genres, and it's pretty much entirely like mood reading, just based on the mood that I'm in. I don't feel like I can usually successfully like give myself an assignment of a books I need to read. Like if I need to read these 5 books but I'm not feeling one of them, I just won't read it. Because since reading is something I enjoy, I want to keep it something that I enjoy, and that usually is, I keep gesturing over here because all my books are, not all my books, I moved a lot of books over here when I was rearranging things. How do you get in tune with your body for fueling and running? Being proactive is a big thing for fueling and running, in that like if you reach a point where you're so exhausted and your legs are hitting a wall and like you're dizzy and can't think right, or like feel super dehydrated or something, that means that like you should have fueled or you should have drank like 3 miles ago. And so being able to like eat the fuel you have, or like drink sips of water, you have to do those things before you feel like you need them, because by the time that you need them, it's kind of too late and it's just gonna feel hard after that. And so I think that becomes a little difficult, because in that sense then it's like less intuitive of like feeling in my body of like, oh, am I feeling like I need some fuel? Let me take some fuel. It's more like the forward thinking of like, oh, 4 miles from now, am I gonna need some fuel? Yeah, I will have needed some fuel. So like then you gotta take it now. So I think what's good is like to come up with some sort of regimen where it's like, I'll take my fuel every 3 miles or something like that, and you try a run doing that. that. And then if it doesn't work for you, then you'd be like, okay, every 2 miles I'm gonna take my fuel. Or if it needs to go the other way, every 4 miles I'm gonna take my fuel. And just like trial and erroring it and seeing what makes you feel best. How do you keep a healthy mindset with relationship between like food and exercise? Years of work. I don't follow like fitness creators or like diet, even like recipe type creators on social media, which I think is helpful because I think that makes my consuming of like maybe not too accurate facts, it really like dwindles that down low. I feel like what's most helpful is just like to break it down to the simple steps of things of like your body literally requires you to eat food, like just like any animals does. Like you have to eat food because you're going to be expending energy, and that doesn't have to be a workout. That can be literally just like living. You are expending energy, and so starting to see food as like something that you're gaining and then that you like get to expend kind of. I feel like it's helped me just like keeping things bare bones, because I think, like I said, with like not following too many people who like talk about fitness and dieting, I feel like it's so easy to get different messages in your head of like, this food is good, this food is bad, this exercise is good, this exercise is bad, I need to be doing more of this, I need to be eating less of this. I think it's so easy to get those other voices like convoluting things in your head when really like it doesn't matter. Fact of the matter is every food is a makeup of like carb, protein, and fats. And granted, some have more vitamins and things like that you want to like get, but it's just like this fun gift to yourself to like eat something that has like some fun vitamins in it. And obviously like ingredients are different, but at the like basic level, every food is just a carb, protein, and fat makeup. Something that's also fun and I feel like has been helpful for me too is like sometimes I'll just randomly look up the benefits of food. Like if we got some raspberries at the grocery store, I'll just like Google, be like benefits of raspberries, and it'll be like, oh, clear skin, antioxidants, like those types of things, and I'm like, oh, cool. And you can do that with anything. I feel like every food has some sort of enjoyment or some sort of benefit to you, whether that is like literally by getting the nutrients and the fuel that you need into your body, or if it like is truly you enjoy eating that food, like that's a benefit to you. What's exciting about this video is that like you're gonna be watching it tomorrow. Hello, in almost real time. Thanks for hanging out with me. I gotta go because my dinner is just like staring at me and I'm starving and I'm talking about food and my dinner is right here. My stomach is rumbling and so I need it. But I love you so much. Thank you for spending these moments with me today and in the future, all the future moments that you spend with me since you've subscribed to my channel and you've turned on all of the alert notifications that are possible and you've liked this video so that more people can see it. You've commented so I know who you are and what you're thinking. Thanks for doing all of those things. Appreciate you. And I'll see you next time.